podcast. My name is Keith Welsh. This episode is late. I've been moving. I apologize. This should be up Wednesday rather than Monday. But you know how it is. Everybody's moved. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of manifesting and what's been going on in my life in the last 8 months. I'm not going to be too specific, but I want to talk about a few things. So this week and the next episode will not have necessarily anything to do with the Patreon discussion groups. But if you're interested, go to the website, click that donate/participate button, or participate/donate. If you like this content, you enjoy it, you notice I have to cut the ads out, feel free to donate money through PayPal or Venmo. It's always appreciated. The Patreon, there is the $10, $20, and $30 tiers. $10 tier, the Journey tier, gives you access to the first Wednesday of every month. The $20 Awake tier gives you access to the first and the third Wednesday. The $30 Insight tier gives you access to the first, second, and third. So essentially it's $10 a group. Or if you just want to come and check it out, $20 through PayPal or Venmo, just please get me your email address so that I can add you to the list. If you want to do one-on-one stuff, you want to start a meditation practice, deepen the one you've got, do something with some sort of spiritual component to your life, you want to do thought transformation or restructuring, you want to move that trauma around, stop that ruminating thinking, maybe work with some anxiety, again, reach out. All of this stuff through email or Instagram direct message. If you'd like me to come to your institution of some sort, do a workshop or a talk at your yoga school or whatever, just reach out through email. Also, the store is there. All the support is always appreciated. So, like I said, the next two episodes are kind of off weeks, but sorry if you're watching on YouTube, you notice me popping my neck, and my car is still filled with the last load of stuff because I do not have the heart to unload it. There's too much happening in that house right now, and I just need some of it cleaned up before I unload this last load. Anyway, so these last, I guess it's almost been 9 months or 10 months or something. It's been wild. I have, at the start of it, I was like, this is going to get crazy. Some things happened that were on paper not good, but ultimately good. And the reason things have worked out so well, the reason they continue to work out so well, has a lot to do with mind training. Training the mind to only think a certain way. It's that power of positive thinking stuff. Manifestation is not creating something out of nothing. It is training the mind to only see certain possibilities so that the outcome is the outcome you want. It doesn't mean that nothing bad happens or that things aren't difficult or painful or whatever. It just means that the mind only looks for certain options, certain paths through. So that's where the affirmations and the mantras come in. This year coming up, this year I'm in has been amazing, and I suspect it only gets better. I'm about to turn 48 on June 1st, and man, there's so much that I just never thought I would have that I have, and that's pretty wild. But I just want to encourage you. I was talking to a friend today, and he understands this. It's not stupid. We're just talking about it, and he wants to feel better about doing a certain thing in his life, which would be like a big change in his life. And you could apply this to anything, right? Or as I'm being vague, but put your own stuff in with it. Sorry, I'm on a bumpy road. But I was like, how do you wish you thought about it? How do you wish you felt about it? Well, I wish I felt this way and that I wanted this. And then it was like, all right, well, what if you just started describing it that way to yourself and just saying that that's just what it is? That's exactly what I've been up to, these, this almost a year now, and it's happening. You hear so often, like, don't quit before the magic happens. And it's real, and there's days that you're like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. Why am I doing this bullshit? These affirmations and this fucking law of attraction, it's bullshit. It's not. You just have to keep, you have to believe until you know, right? And through experience. The belief is the thought exercise, right? The belief is the positive affirmation in the face of all sorts of bullshit and negativity, right? You just do it anyway, you believe anyway. And then it turns into this knowing, because you start to see things shift. And then there's that, well, I have it on good authority that good things keep happening if I just stay on this trajectory. And I'd noticed it in the past, right? I'd seen evidence of, but then there's always those times where it's like, yeah, that's all great for this thing, but not for this thing, because this is the very serious, horrible thing that happens. No. That's what it really comes down to, is this. And anytime you talk about manifestation or the law of attraction or the power of positive thinking, somebody always throws extremes in your face. You think of death. Death is going to happen. What you should be trying to do is manifest a point of view. You're not gonna pull something out of the ether. Like, if someone you love is dying, they're going to die. They were going to die anyway. It's just not on your schedule. So the manifestation, the law of attraction, it's attracting a way of looking at things. A way of relating to the circumstances that's more beneficial. Now, if you want to sit here in the first world and say, well, it doesn't work if you're living in, shut up. You don't live there. You're here. You're here. There's that the serenity prayer, right? The wisdom to know that, like, the courage to change the things I can, or no, the courage to accept the things I can, the wisdom, I don't know, you accept shit you can change and you don't fuck with the rest of it. People get lost wringing their hands over things that they have absolutely no control over. And some big things happened this year to me in this last 12 months, or I was thinking a year, and these last couple months since last July, right? A lot has happened, man. And some of it is not good. But I created that reality, right? But then I just stayed positive. I was like, well, that's fine, because this is how it's going to work out. I'm going to benefit from this. I'm going to benefit from this. I refuse to see it any other way. Call it delusional, whatever, but things are unfolding in a beautiful way. I've never been happier. I've never felt better. It's all happening. That's prayer, that's mantra, that's affirmations. It's training the mind to only see the possibilities for something beneficial. Was it last week? During our third Wednesday, the Awake group, someone had mentioned the word acceptance, that accept was difficult. I think I've mentioned that before. Acceptance, it's like, what am I accepting exactly? It's, to me, it's like this. Shit might be falling down around me. I can accept that. That is happening. It's not about accepting that it's happening. You can't deny it. But I'm going to refuse to see this as something that breaks me holds me back, prevents me from living my best life. I refuse that. So from this point forward, I only accept or see the possibility for a beneficial outcome. And call it what you want, say what you want about it. You know, because you can easily listen to me talk and go, but what about Palestine? If you're listening to this motherfucker, you don't live in Palestine. You're here, probably in the United States, Canada. Like, accept the things you can't change and the courage to change the things you can and the wisdom to know the difference. Right? Like, do you know the difference in things you can change and things you can't change? Because if you don't know the difference in those two things, you're fucked. You're fucked anyway. Like, that's the thing I've gained, is the ability to just let go or let be the things like, look, I can't fix that shit. You know, that plane's in the air. That flight has taken off. But I'm smart enough now at this point in my life to know the difference. And it's a deep knowing. It's an intuition almost. Because you can think shit and think that you're, you know, doing the thing, but you're not. You're kind of getting wrapped around the axle about things that you can't change. Can't change someone else's behavior. You can, however, change the way your mind relates to it. Can't change the weather. You can change the way your mind relates to the weather. Right? That's that Chogyam Trungpa quote. At least I think he said it. He used to say it. That you can't carpet the world in leather, but you can put shoes on. You know, the bad things or the less than favorable things that have happened to me, you know, I really vacillate between 2 points of view. Some of them, it's like the last 2 years are almost a blur, right? That they're like the difficult stuff is absolutely my fault. It has been my fault. It's my own doing. And it's due to my own unskillful thinking, unskillful perception. It's like, well, that wasn't enjoyable. So how do we change that? But then at the same time, I really struggle with this idea that, like, I'm right now in such a beautiful place that those other things had to happen. I ultimately wasn't happy before. You know, I was content, but I wasn't happy. I don't know. I think the fourth book is going to be about this period. You know, Christy and I've talked about, like, working on it together, because she's been such a massive part of it, you know. But man, whatever situation you're in, it's not permanent, you know. And to manifest something else, man, it requires some magical thinking, you know. And I've been working on an essay about this for Substack. You know, in the mental health field, you'll hear this term, well, they're just doing magical thinking. And it's usually a therapist that doesn't understand or comprehend what the client is saying, because maybe they don't approve of something the client believes in or has faith in it, and they're not using it. Look, you hear it when, I guess if you're schizophrenic or in psychosis and you believe mailboxes are giving you signals or what, I don't know, right? But ultimately, it's that your thoughts, actions, symbols, that all of these things will affect your material world, the external world. And so as I'm saying that, some are going, well, your thoughts and your actions do affect yours. What's the problem? Well, you know, anybody that's done any deep inner work knows that when you start to adjust your thoughts rearrange your thinking using metacognition, start to behave differently, your mind changes. Oh my God, is that cognitive behavioral therapy? I think it is. So at what point do we cross from magical thinking into cognitive behavioral therapy? You know, it's like, and these therapists just say this kind of shit. They don't fucking think about it. It's like, I used to work with this therapist that would always say, and if she's listening, you know who you are. Well, hope is a spiritual principle. And I'd be like, what does that mean? What do you mean it's a spiritual principle? Explain that statement to me. And they'd always just laugh, like, well, they couldn't, because it doesn't make any fucking, what the fuck does that mean? Hope it's a spiritual principle. That's you're just saying shit. You're saying words don't fucking mean anything. You know, and it's like this, look, if the patient or the client isn't in psychosis or fucking schizophrenic, then magical thinking might be cognitive behavioral therapy. And that might be karma, and that might be manifesting, law of attraction, like attracts like. Like your mind will be attracted to like things. It doesn't mean that, like, if I'm super positive, I'm gonna attract super, well, I guess it does mean that. It's not as woo-woo and weird as people think it is. And this idea that magical thinking is bad, because that's the way it gets thrown around in like a staff meeting, right? I don't know how many morning meetings I've been in where like, well, he's just, you know, using magical thinking. He believes that if he prays and change, that you know, his wife will not leave him. I don't know. Fucking let him try. Maybe if he prays and starts some sort of a practice and a belief system in something greater than himself or something he's inextricably connected to, like God, maybe he'll start to fucking stop acting like an asshole and his wife won't leave him. Or he becomes so spiritually sound that when or if she does, he's actually okay. And he goes, oh my God, that was actually the best thing that could happen to either one of us. Holy fuck. There's your magical thinking. On paper, if I had a therapist and I had said all the shit that I'd been through in the last like I don't know, 8 or 9 months ago, and said, you know, I really think it's all gonna work out for the best, or I believe this is the best thing that could happen, they would have been like, you're using magical thinking. Okay. Symbols. I don't know, symbols like a rosary or a mala bead string, or symbols like a yidam or a statue or a deity, and you go to temple every fucking week and you sit in front of Krishna and chant and read and like and change your mind and adjust your thinking and say the names of God so many times that the only thing you think about or see is like the world through the eyes of Krishna. Like, that's not going to change your external world. The reason, I'm sorry, I'm really on one. The reason magical thinking or manifesting or law of attraction gets a bad rap in mental health is because usually you, and I'm not speaking for all therapists, I'm sure some of you are fucking wonderful, but it's because none of them have done their inner work. They tried to fix themselves by fixing you. If they just do enough good deeds, that'll somehow cancel out all the bullshit they've tried to pull off, or somehow they'll heal themselves through healing you. How do I know this? Because I've fucking been there. And it turns out when you, like, that's why they don't understand it. That's why your therapist doesn't understand manifesting. That's why your therapist doesn't understand magical thinking. That's why your therapist doesn't understand why you put your hand in a bead bag and chant Hare Krishna. That's why, because they haven't done anything. Do you know why I understand a Catholic? Because I've been a Hare Krishna. That's how I understand Catholics. That's how I understand the rosary, because I know what it's like to chant something every day and know like you know, like you know, like you know, and believe, and suddenly it becomes this deep realization. Your therapist probably hasn't done that. I don't know, maybe you need to flip through BetterHelp or whatever the fuck that Tinder for therapists is. I don't know what the fuck that thing is, but maybe that's what you need to do. I don't know. But you need a spiritual practice. I'm pointing at the end. You need a spiritual, because that's CBT, cognitive thinking, behavioral acting, cognitive behavioral therapy, therapeutic fixing, healing. Healing yourself by changing the way you're thinking so that your actions change, so that the outcome changes and your external world begins to shift because you now see things differently, you're behaving differently, you're getting different. Oh my God, is that karma? Oh, it is karma, isn't it? Remember, shamatha is now mindfulness meditation, pranayama is cardiac coherent breathing, and karma is cognitive behavioral therapy. It turns out, dummy, that the way you act affects the way you think. The subconscious tells the body how to feel. The body tells the conscious mind what to think. The conscious mind starts to elaborate on what you perceive as a nightmare or a shitty situation. Your body tightens up, reinforces all the bad ideas of the subconscious. And until you identify with awareness through the meditative practice, the ability to go, oh, look, there's a thought and it's bullshit, and let's change it. Let's engage in metacognition and change that. Then you're just going to fucking groundhog yourself into dust. Welcome to my TED Talk. I don't think I've been on a rant like that in a minute. Anyway, I'm going to go for a run. And, yeah. I think to celebrate turning 48, I decided today, which I don't have enough time to do it by my birthday, I don't think, I'm going to run this certain route and then swim home to my new place. It's on the water. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So today I'm going to start running with that intention of training up to that. Running has been a huge part of my spiritual practice. Running barefoot has become vital. Okay, I love you guys. Go to the website, theinfinitesparkofbeing.com. Participate, join the Patreon, or just check it out. One off, $20. Follow on Instagram, follow on Facebook. Follow me on Substack, read my little essays. Follow me as a teacher, Keith Welsh, or the Infinite Spark of Being on Insight Timer. Buy t-shirts, buy tank tops. It's hot out. Get yourself a tank top. I love you guys. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.